So T-side start for LG. PKL's going to go out to the door 4 inside of A main. Suggests immediately a take, but look at the presence from G2. 4 players in mid, 3 players in mid, 2 of them going to push through the garage. Didn't catch Shocks over toward B, but that means they're going to wrap around fine on the retake, and what a hold inside of the site. They'll get toward the bomb default position now to get it down. Neck the one to do so. Kenny can't defend against that. He just has to stay alive. Good play from Neck as well. Immediately to find a kill afterward. Dink onto body, but he holds it. If that kill went the other way, we might have had a different round because it would have opened up position for Neckis to wrap around behind the red crate, start to control the angle and defend the bomb, but it's G2 with a retake on A by design, and Kenny playing very well inside of the site to take the pistol round.
Yeah, that's all Kenny, man. The fact that he's holding into the A site alone in that point, that's not a retake setup. He's there fighting. He's up against 5 players, hiding inside the smoke, timing it well, gets 1 pick, then hides away once again, and then finishes off with 2 frags. Stayed alive. Sure, the bomb got planted, but overall, successful round for G2 there with 3 players surviving. AK is expected to come out in the 3rd, and indeed they will. Just PT50s there and a couple of flashbangs. That's really all LG can do. Best case scenario, they get the bomb down. I don't think that will be happening, but we'll see. Shoxy to be challenged first as he uses the MP9 to great effect. We'll find 3 kills, probably 1 more as well. Final bullet required, and now he's on for the ace. 4 kills for Shoxy, and just Nikiz who's holding towards the main entrance at this point. They know exactly where he is, and it will indeed be a Shoxy ace to kick things off. That's just going to get him fired up and in the zone. That's not what you want. A very scary player when he's in form.
Yeah, Shocks was a little bit quiet. I said modest was probably a better word. It wasn't like he wasn't doing anything, and obviously they won the first map, but to have him start like that, especially, look, Cash is a map that he can go off. You want to talk about it being assertive. It doesn't even necessarily mean that he needs the AWP to do so, especially if he can carry, AK over to the CT side. Look for him to be aggressive toward A main, aggressive toward mid, wherever he like. His existence will hold very passively toward mid this time. Smoke himself off, in fact, back away as PKL is smoked to the opposing side. Talk about aggression, Henry. Here we go. Shocks again this time. They won't confront anyone as of yet, but at distance, Body has the rifle, so he'll do the deed. Take the first shot on the M4. Steels tries a rebuttal, but at this point, Body's hoping they're going to try and pursue him on foot, chase him down, and that'll allow Shocks to be baited in.
That's really nice from G2. They know the AKs are coming out. There's probably going to be a default to initiate things here on Cash. They push towards the squeaky door, find the first pick. A little bit of damage exchange there, and Kenny is opting to fall backwards for Mass. He gives middle over. They still have a 5 versus 4. Middle is not a bomb site. Sure, it's a promising position to have, but you just hold up towards B. You got 3 players there, and Shoxy's still established towards squeaky door. Means Body can just play towards that quad position. Just get intel, play a safe game. There is actually no Molotovs available for Luminosity here. That actually bodes very well for the CD defense. They can play pretty standard positions, not going to be flushed out at all, especially towards quad, which is always so vulnerable to the flames of the Molotov cocktail. Shoxy's actually pushing all the way towards T-spawn. He's getting so much intel here with the MP9, and he might have a bit of a misplay here. Could be calling they're going towards B. But obviously middle's still open. They won't be rotating just yet, but Body's starting to move as they make their commitment towards A. At least he's still alive now. Gets the call off. If he gets 1 kill, that'll be enough, but I think he goes down with nothing here. He goes behind them. What a flank that is from Body. Great footwork on the A-bomb side there. He's only good for 1, but we said that was enough.
That's the vulnerability of it. He goes that far around and he's susceptible to highway, but what a play to preserve himself, find a kill without absolutely no expectation or response, and then they absolutely obliterate the site with only losing him. It's going to give them the 3rd round against the early buy AKs and build up the bank. This is a perfect start from G2 so far, and the pressure on Luminosity to respond and respond swiftly. A bomb plant does certainly help.
Absolutely does. We've always said that Body's a solid anchor, and started to drop off towards the end of the previous G2 roster, but that's much better by him, holding on, using the sound cues and the information gathered by Shoxy with that squeaky door push. Wraps around, he does 1.5 in terms of kills. He gets the first and then dinks another. And it will be a Luminosity eco here. Could go for a bit of a partial buy considering they got the bomb down again. But Deagles, PT50s, and a couple of players with armor. That's going to be Steel and Nikiz, so watch out for that. But the scoreline overall, 3-0 as we go to round number 4 here. And 4 AKs available for G2. They're looking very strong at this point. Shouldn't be giving this one up. No orbs, but that's absolutely fine. 4-0. Should be a lock-in. PKL at the end of the squeaky door just now.
Yeah, Shocks as well, also continuing with that aggression. Stays up underneath the drop position inside of middle. His neck is very close to that, but can't go further. There's flames down. No need to walk into it. Kenny, good recognition of the door being opened. You mentioned PKL getting in that position, and he goes to find Steel as well. Backs off A main just as they'll apply further aggression, I imagine. Yeah, shut that door. Use the noise to his advantage again later on as he goes back into A main. Finds one more. Bomb down. Eventually he does get countered. You would expect that might have happened sooner on that trade.
Kenny's fine with going down at this point, right? He doesn't want to keep 5 rifles alive. He knows the gun's coming out again. He's managed to farm a little bit of cash there, $600 for himself. Actually, 900 with 3 kills. There is a bit of a response here. This could get a little bit dangerous now with the overcommitment from G2. They've actually given 2 rifles away, and Vegas has got armor as it goes into the 2 versus 1 now. And final kill from Existence. Nice work. A little bit uncomfortable, like we said. Rifles going down at this point, not a huge deal for G2. They still got $12,000 on Shoxy. Kenny on 10k, so the orb going to come out almost certainly for him. Will they go for the double orb setup here? You kind of speculated the Smiths might bring it out as well. He was the orb for G2
That's right.
for the longest of times, but not going to be the case just yet.
It's interesting because we always were I guess, fantasizing over seeing Kenny and Shox together. Obviously, it hasn't transpired the way many people would have expected it to do. That was the other duo, though. It was Smiths and Shox. They played together forever.
Yeah.
In fact, to the point where Smiths agreed to coach to stay alongside of Shox in that sort of, I guess, relationship, that camaraderie that they built up. Now he's back. Maybe that's the key. Maybe he has to be playing for Shox to go off.
Well, it could be the secret recipe. Who knows?
Speaking of Shox, he'll be boosted up again this time by Existence. They're certainly looking that direction and considering it on the Luminosity side, so he'll have to be careful, but patience seems to be in order. I guess spotting Existence up toward mid, that may even further their doubt or suspicion toward this boost because he's transitioning back away from Cubby for no reason other than perhaps to boost him. So flash over, he'll peek it. All of these things do point and suggest that he might be there. So how does Yell approach this on the AWP? Tries to keep his head down. Steel should be the one to peek it on the rifle, you'd expect, but throwing a nade. Shox will strike, surely. He's playing patient as can be. Yell hits it. So they were ready for it, but Body still back toward the white box. Won't give up middle so easily. And although it's a man advantage for Luminosity, time starts to be a factor at 48 seconds because they don't have a lot of map control to go with it.
They've got almost 0. They're still in the mid connector here. They're going to have to fall back towards B from what I can see at the moment. They will start to triangulate towards that position, but Smiths is waiting. He's in towards heaven. This is a nice little angle. You can spot the feet just before the T's can. So you get a bit of an advantage there. The low HP player came in just as he did there. Did see a player cross over. And he's going to get a chance to spray one down. Might want to fall back at this point, maintain the advantage. He will be dropped at that point. I really felt like he had to just stay alive. 20 seconds remaining. Body trying to deny the plant. Flashbang comes in. Great stuff, but the shot not as nice. Says now. Kenny S left in a 2 versus 1.
Didn't even do enough damage, Body. Absolutely should have nailed that first shot on Yell, who will now go back over to get the bomb down with 8 seconds left on the clock. Avoiding that AWP of Kenny, and as he jumps in, I thought he might consider going to the M4. Gets caught instead, so finally LG pick up a round, and it's Yell's AWP. Thankfully, that'll stay in their hands and move over as well. Remember, this does leave a reset possible with 2 players surviving.
Indeed. Yell giving the all points again. G2 presumably have plenty of cash here. PKL. Nice move with the AK. That's why I felt like Smith really just had to get out of their way for his teammates. But Yell, nice shot to finish things off there. Great stuff to take down Kenny. Close the round off. You can see Kenny dropping that incendiary towards a headshot position. He was hoping the second player who hadn't gotten the site yet had the bomb. Maybe deny him with the clock running down. But for now, a tactical pause from G2. Obviously still a new squad.
Yeah, that's certainly true. New squad seems so bizarre when you consider the depth on this team and the project that it was, but yeah, they certainly are. I'm into it. Oh, he broke. He broke character. He tried so hard.
Round 6, and it will still be the single orb setup. Money's starting to be whistled down now for G2. They do get the 4 rifles and the AWP. But you can see a significant lack of utility for Smiths and Shoxy there. It's going to be Existence with a passive hold towards A and another default round now for G2. Kenny S with the AWP towards B this time. Like he said, he can be mixing things up every single round to try and find the opening picks. He's going to edge his way towards T-spawn and try and get that bit of intel. Drops the smoke for now to allow Smiths to push by the list of things.
Yeah, dropped the smoke on top of the pipe.
Is that what happened?
It didn't actually make it. It just stopped in B main.
Oh, there it is. That's not ideal.
That is an NA smoke.
Or a British one.
Oh, yes, UK smoke. I didn't say it, you did, so that's totally fine.
There we go.
Henry, you live
Matt,
12 minutes from here. They're going to follow you home and sack you tonight.
We'll get into the next sector of the round, shall we? 1 minute remaining, and we'll see there's a boost coming in for Yell and Steel here. They'll be smoking out the connector. Molotov towards the vents. Pretty standard stuff so far. Body holds strong, though, and we'll see whether he can stay alive yet.
So smoke going down certainly indicates that he was inside of the vents, because why else would he extinguish the flames? They have to check the angle, but he's going to try and play it to his advantage. I think he's realized with so many bullets peppering off or pelting off the wall behind him, it's best to retreat. In doing so, nearly got caught by Showtime, and that's exactly what he was planning on doing. You see Get Right do that for an IP. As soon as you clear the vents, have a player in position toward B that has that angle covered off. Unfortunately, it doesn't amount to a kill because they're desperate to pull this back to a 4 versus 4. 20 seconds, and again, Luminosity do not have a lot of map control in which to execute. Existence boosted up. PKL has to spot his feet, tried to do so. Flashes out, and Existence reads it. He checks it, PKL, but goes down, traded by Showtime, gets them closer to planting the bomb. 7 seconds, and Shocks cuts off Showtime. 4 on the clock, it's done. Plant is too late, round is over, and anyone who goes down after the time will not get further money, and that includes, well, pretty much only Yell at this point. His teammate, I don't know how he's alive. Smith's got him just at the end, so no money for Yell. The previous teammate, I didn't catch the name just because everything was happening so quickly, did fall before time, but that's no money for the AWP player.
Yeah, it was a little bit too close for comfort there for GT, but he did finally get that kill on Yell, and that means he gets 0 money going to this next round. I think they will be force buying regardless, so they will indeed. They've gone all in. It's 5-1, and they're going in with just pistols, and it's Yell with no armor, no nades, just the Desert Eagle. So really far from an ideal situation at this point. This is the second map. If you're just joining us, the best of 3. G2 took away Luminosity's pick of Overpass, and now finding himself in an eco going into round number 7. The damage inflicted there as they'll commit towards B. How do they really break down this defense? There's 3 CTs waiting for them. They'll commit now, and Body, he's stuck behind enemy lines.
They're not going to know he's here. 2 got by. They were all blinded, which means, remember, when you're blind, you lose your audio as well. It's a ringing in the ears, and he got in behind enemy lines and nearly got away with more than just the 1 kill, but it's pulled back, and Luminosity suddenly have a shout in the round. 2 M4s picked up, a man advantage, and a minute, finally a minute to work with, and a little bit of map control. Get that bomb in and get it planted. Shocks gets found out by Showtime. I think he was caught daydreaming a little bit. Slow reactions, might have been trying to communicate, didn't catch where his eyes had wandered, but a 1 versus 3 for Existence. It's as many kills as he has in this game, not to call him out. They're up 5-1, and he hasn't had to do much, having to rotate off B. It's been a lot of activity toward the A site. Damage is there onto Showtime, but doesn't continue the spam. He'll back off, yeah. Get the AWP and get away. There's not a lot of money, actually, on the G2 side, despite their success. Lopsided affair.
Was the force buy, and LG will somehow win it going towards B. It looked like they were about to collapse with the push from Body. Nice little idea to get towards the B storage area, get behind them, but he's only good for 1 frag. Ultimately, he gave up a rifle at that point, couldn't play off his teammates, and it's up to Existence in a 1 versus 3, but opts to save the AWP instead. Money isn't fantastic. They'll only get $1,400 for the next round. And there it is, an orb, and each player hovering around $3,000. 3 players survived for LG. What a successful gambit that was towards the B side of the map. CZ's only, and they leave with a lot more. That was the frag that was so important. Still getting the kill with the CZ. Showtime finding frags towards the bomb site, and then this, taking out Shoxy, who was in such a key position. That's when it all fell apart, 5-2. As Luminosity get a bit of a lifeline here. It's going to be a tactical timeout for G2 at this stage. Presumably they force by. They'll try and steal the momentum right back.
It's the 2nd timeout for G2 in this game.
It is.
Even with the 5-2 spread. It's a money game at this point for them. It's a rather upbeat playlist we've got today, Henry.
It is. We'll see whether it's going to help out G2 at all, as they'll find themselves in a very problematic situation. Existence drops over the AWP. It doesn't look like they're going to fully commit, though, with the purchase. Just some P250s to go with it. So KNS definitely capable of winning rounds by himself, as especially the LG don't have an AWP to work with here. So can he get any opening? We'll see whether he wants to go aggressive at the very start. He'll head towards the B side of the map here. Doesn't fully commit towards B storage, but does jump across towards checkers. Now, hunting for that first kill. Checking every corner. No one there to receive. They're all 5 players towards A. Flashbang could be great though for G2. This is going to be messy. Oh my god, they all line up and no kills found at all. Body gets 1. That could have been so disastrous for the Brazilians, but they will come out on top. There was a double kill lineup there for sure.
Yeah, if Chalks had more of his vision, that was easily 2 kills. Headshot range, no question, being that close with P250, and not hard to hit a head that takes up half your screen, but it's down to Kenny, 1 versus 4, and he will back off. Again, that AWP needing to be saved. So Luminosity, despite having a slow start in this game, we talked about it, lack of map control on many occasions, deep in the round, have just done enough to pull this back, and finally get a footing into the game. Surprisingly, if you look at the rounds that have gone by, this is the 4th bomb plant. It doesn't seem like they've had that many down. A lot of them were desperate. Post plant's not really ideal. Continue to search for Kenny. He'll hit one further onto Nekas and immediately repost because he knows they're in pursuit. They know that AWP is menacing, and Kenny, the next round, if he has it, can certainly do further damage. He's taking away money at this point, which is still a problem for Luminosity when you consider that they haven't really built up that much of a bank account, Henry.
Absolutely so. Kenny not only survives, but removes money significantly from Luminosity there. Great work with the AWP, and sends out a message as to what may be coming in round number 9 here. Lovely work. Keeps his money nice and strong, and still no AWP for Luminosity as they trail back into this one. Remember, I did say this is slightly considered a T-sided map on Cash. So still not looking too good for Luminosity. They need a few more rounds like that to where they can keep players alive. And it's up to Kenny to go back towards B. Another ace-sided attack though. They're going for the set piece off the bat here. 3 players towards the door, 1 a main entrance. Smokes will come through. Shoxy going to be boosted. Can they get it up in time? This can be very vulnerable to the spam, but Existence is the one to go up, but he makes a bit of a noise there.
He did. That's absolutely been spotted. They go in, they don't check it over top of him. It's Existence that turns around with Shocks, but they're unsure of which way to look. They need the 3rd player from Highway, which they'll get. They'll receive. Shocks and Existence steal. Massive swing in his aim, and suddenly Smiths, I said they needed the player from Highway, has to respond. But speaking of, watch Yell, because if he gets the trade back, it'll be a late trade and brings this to a one-on-one. There is ample opportunity to get the bomb back inside of the A site. A minute to work with. In fact, he's going to go all the way through there together, though. This is good positioning, but it's the AWP that's left to get the trade, and down he goes. Good shot from Yell.
They try and stick together. They thought that'd be the best way to operate. Traditionally, they would be correct, but as soon as the AWP misses the first shot, they were absolutely done for. That's such a disappointing outcome there for G2. Smiths and Kenny cannot hold on. It was scrappy to begin with. You saw that fast play coming in from Luminosity, and the boost couldn't seem to help out at all. Existence just flashed off. His teammates are going down. They finally get the man advantage, but it all comes crashing down, and it should be 5-5 at this point with just Deagles and PD50s for G2 as Niquez goes for the first pick. Doesn't quite find Existence there, but does a little bit of damage.
Remember, with Kenny getting so many kills 2 rounds ago, and then buying around the AWP, it was almost as if Luminosity mismanaged the economy or misread the economy and could have cost themselves dearly. They get away with it on a good recovery from Yell. Or a sloppy boost, depending on which perspective you want to take. So aggressive toward B in behind the smokes. Crossfire set up, 3 players immediately in front of the doorway, and then 1 with a deagle we saw further back to try and hold off checker room. That being Shocks, but meanwhile, Steele's going to go investigate toward middle, and the more he doesn't find anyone, the more likely they are to work toward the A site. Easy kill onto Existence. See if they flush anyone out on B. Finding Smiths, good read from Showtime. Round pretty much done at this point.
I think you might be right there. The bomb will be collected from middle. They've got an open A bomb site here. Not a single kill going to be found by G2. Nice work from Showtime to spray down Kenny and body there. Just Shoxy left in the 5 versus 1, and it will be tied up at 5-5. Nothing he can really do about this, and a very slow procedure from Luminosity, not been planting yet. There we go, will go down, and the final kill comes in. Perfect round from them, only really giving up about 20 damage in total. As we get into round number 11 here, G2 still not quite stable. I think they can afford the AWP, indeed they can on Kenny S. Are they going for a partial buy of SMGs? They absolutely are. This is really bizarre. They had like 6k per player, and they've gone for 3 MP9s for mass and an M4, saving $2,000 per player here. I've never seen a buy like this. They could have absolutely had a full buy here.
Are they misreading the economy now? Is it their turn to assume that Luminosity has been broken down? How would you assume that with 3 rounds in a row? This is very unorthodox, but it suggests aggression, and that certainly is the case so far, as Kenny finds a kill out towards Squeaky, and they're going to swing through main as well. So they've entirely pinched off A, and in doing so confirmed that there's no aggression there. The problem is they don't have middle, so Highway still is an option. Not if Shocks does that. Boosted up, finds 2 in reverse. On an angle you wouldn't expect to be the CT's advantage, and a bomb down inside of the vents as well. Smiths will confirm that now. Don't worry about it. They've got to boost back up just to get to that bomb. You could just hold station at this point in time.
I'm not even sure what to call that buy. It's more than a partial buy, but it's not a full purchase.
Tactical.
Tactical SMG rush. I guess they're just pushing around the map, trying to find the opening kills. It's working out very nicely, as now it's a 4 versus 2. one of the players down to 16 HP. Showtime on 100, but not for long. Shoxy's there in T-spawn, finds his third kill of the round, and the kids can't do anything about this. It's unorthodox, but you can't argue with the results there. G2 wanting to change the pace, getting super aggressive, the MP9s. I guess it's the unexpected play. Those SMGs have a lot of run and gun potential. Get into those key choke points at the very start. They go for the reverse boost, and my God, did it work after pushing towards A main. There will be 2 frags for Shoxy. That pretty much did win the round for them. Holstrom towards T-spawn and takes down Showtime. Lovely stuff there from G2. Very creative. I'm a big fan of that. That's something they've been potentially working on. I'm not sure. That's a very interesting call.
Works out brilliantly. They were not at all expecting Shox's presence. So quick to get to that side of the map. So Yell taking damage early on, boosted up. Some flames at his feet, down to 26. Body, meanwhile, over toward B will start to inquire as to anything around the corner. Showtime being more passive in this particular round. Money as it sits. Break point for LG, but a round left over for G2, and a lot of that has to do with what they essentially didn't buy in the last round and the reward of what they did. The SMGs, though it was a number of kills on the FAMAS for Shox. Watch the Incendiary again, because as we get to the 1 minute mark, Luminosity, as we've seen so many times, are still gathered inside of middle with a 1-3-1, and not a lot of map control gathered. It's almost like they're stubborn to get to this boost position, and they're just so hesitant to do so.
Still mid control, gathered at last, with time ticking away now, the 40-second mark. And that's all they've really got on the map. It looks like a B-split potential with Showtime towards that storage area, trying to find the first pick, but no damage inflicted just yet. His teammates towards checkers, but Smith's playing in front of the smoke and here, absolutely everything around him. Nice little position here, considering there's not much time. Can he find the first frag? Certainly can. Damage inflicted towards Yell as well. And we'll see with this 20 seconds. Luminosity surely can't do anything with this.
It's down immediately. Good find. As you say, Body, as he backs off to the side as well, finds PKL, and that's just a slaughter. Kenny hits 2. Collateral through his teammate, Existence, excuse me, gets the 3rd, but either way, G2 starting to run with this, and Luminosity, again, they were forced their hand, I mean, they 10 seconds, and they want to get into a B site that has 3 players watching the doorway.
Well, there we go. Luminosity took so long on their default, couldn't really find much at all towards middle, went for the B split. Kenny was there with the collect kill, and its Existence to hold up as well for the 5th. Nice work by Smith, though. Great positioning by him. Knew with no time remaining they had to commit plays in front of the smoke, gets the first kill on checkers, does damage through the smoke, stays alive, just buys enough time as they go for a full eco rush here towards A. This will be a pretty simple round. Kenny S misses both shots so far, but still the bomb nowhere near the site, and he's going to be a clean sweep. Just one player in the former still hiding by the forklift right now. He's only got the Glock, no armor, and 5 kills to his name. Shoxy, they finish things off, and they start to look a lot more comfortable now. They will be winning the half at this point, 8-5, round number 14. Already a map up, this is their pick. And so far, so good. Look at the scoreboard quickly. Steele, you would expect him to be one of the key names of this squad, 5 and 11. Yell, really not carrying over that form from Overpass either. He's 5 and 10. They really haven't had enough money for the AWP after rounds they've won. Remember that? It was G2 to win the pistol, so 5 rounds, not disastrous, but I'd like to see at least one more from Luminosity to really stand a chance here. Molotov down to delay that boost. Nade in towards mid. Want to do any damage? Certainly will. Nick is hit for 30.
Certainly a case of what could have been, though, as well. One further round, and they break down G2.
Yep.
They could have run away with it in any other world, any other situation. It does make up to find Shox, and this time they'll open up mid rather early, as well as getting inside of the vents. They'll start toward B, but Smiths is ready, AK-47, and he'll relocate. Smoke already down, unfortunately. Incendiary thrown a little bit early, won't do any further damage, but it does give Smith's position. The problem is, okay, good. He's considered it. I was going to say they could still slide toward checker. Body's got that angle covered off. Steele will take it again, but he's heard dropping down, and Smiths is looking solid on the rifle. 3 kills for him in this round, and enough to persuade it down to a 1 versus 3. PKL does have bomb, but not a lot to work with.
Not really much at all. The penultimate round here, and with his presence towards middle and Smith's in the sunroom, they don't really have to worry about B at all. The sunroom's so strong. He can see checkers and obviously the storage area. That's not going to matter at all, though, because PKL makes his way up short, doesn't even get close to the bomb site before he's shut down. In terms of their loss bonus, it's coming up to maximum, but it's the final round, so they have to stick with just 4. That's about $3,000 per player without the bomb going down. It hasn't gone down in 4 rounds, to be fair. Smiths once again in that great position towards heaven, gets it done with the AK-47. round number 15 here. It's just going to be a mixture of SMGs and Galils for Luminosity. Not looking too good at all, and likely that G2 find double digits here. They haven't used the double up setup. I did call them out. I thought G2 would definitely use that, but I take you back. It looks like just Kenny S on the single AWP, and it's working very well.
It is working. I mean, we just saw an example of Smiths being proficient with a rifle, but you're right. I would have expected to see it at least once. Maybe if they got into further disarray, but its existence to take down PKL to start off the last round of the first half. A great start. Again for G2 as Shox takes substantial damage. Still confidently fires the unsilenced M4 back into the smoke. A single bullet would have dropped him, but as the bomb goes down, it's all about Smiths again. His first opportunity to get a kill rolled by Kenny, but the nade, you're right, with the damage done. Yell didn't take him all the way down, but put him in a position where Kenny could follow up, and the second nade is sufficient. It's pretty much done at this point, you'd expect. I guess it has to be amazing from this position. Smoke down does manage to trace out where Kenny falls and take him down on the UMP. The open doorway for Steel, also a benefit, but they're going to smoke him off and force his hand. Low HP on Smith, that's found. He might do this, you're right. He could wrap him behind them. Nekes is doing a brilliant job from quad, and it's suddenly all to body. He's got both. He does have a kid, excuse me. The HUD threw me off, he's got this. That's well done to pull it back, just barely in the end by body.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. In the second map, G2 will lead 10-5. Luminosity got so much work to do here. They needed more rounds down the T-side, in my opinion. They did lose the pistol, but that last one, if they stole that away, it would really give them a bit of momentum going to the second half. I would say this is a must-win pistol now for the Brazilians. Tournament life on the line. If they don't pick this one up, it looks like it's going to crash apart. What have we got here, Matt?
These are Paula's shoes.
He's dropped
You absolutely hate to see it.
What, the shoes
made
or?
A blunder. They're black shoes. Just scrub them off and keep going. I think it's just the plate in the background.
Okay.
To be fair, there was an event that I did with Paula once where I think every day I spilled food on myself, and on the last day he dropped an entire plate of food all over me. So he's known for that. Nekes starts it off. It's exactly what Luminosity need on this CT side. Shock's the one to go down as well. That's always a prominent figure to drop early. Nekes as well underneath of the vent. Good entrance from Kenny. That's certainly pronouncing his arrival. As PKL tries to do something in return from headshot, but he receives one instead. Puts him on 13 HP and much worse off the second time as Smiths follows that up to find Steel as well. Through the edge of a box, I think, with a Glock. So not bad. Showtime suddenly, despite that they had the first kill, finds himself needing a clutch in return.
33 HP, a smoke and a defuse kit. That's what he's got to work with here, but it's looking almost certain that G2 will pick this one up. He'll wait for any mistakes to be made. Is anyone going to spawn towards CT spawn? Absolutely not. Now they know exactly where he is. He can set up the trifecta of doom here, but he's doing a good job so far. There's the first kill, but not much more available. Smiths will take him down.
Bless you, Henry. I know you were trying to be quiet and subtle about it, but I'm just going to point it out anyway.
Thank you very much. Round number 2 coming in, and there will be G2 in the lead, 11-5. Luminosity presumably going to force fight here, but this was the entrance from Kenny S. Managed to actually find 3 kills in total. Really impressive stuff from him. Smith to finish things off there with the Glock. And it won't be the full investment in terms of the buy. There will be 3 sets of armor, but Yell and Showtime not purchasing fully into the round. Still waits for an opportunity towards middle, but his teammate goes down first, and he'll be dropped at the same time. So this doesn't look too promising now. 12-5, pretty much guaranteed, and maybe even 13 with the full eco going into the next round. 5 versus 3 now as PK out. The only significant investment, the CZ and armor.
So aggressive for PKL. Showtime, no differently, will put himself inside of the useless. Body's going to give up his position in mid just to go back for that. He's aware that he's gone that direction. Molotov in hopes to put him in the line of fire from existence. It does that, but he can't capitalize. And suddenly, as they're all distracted, Yell and PKL find kills. This goes back to a 3 versus 3. Not a lot of ground to work with in terms of weapons picked up, but it certainly makes things awkward for G2. Shox will take advantage of the noises that he's heard outside of the doorway and the fact that he knows they're going to be retreating back to the A site. And that'll invite Smiths to bring the bomb in that direction. So they should get away with this.
Oh, yeah.
But it certainly got close for a second.
Well, we'll manage to take Galil and a Deagle. Means at least the next round won't be a complete gimme for the French side. We'll see whether Showtime can get anything more of this. His teammate Yell does explore towards the entrance of the A-bomb side. Not going to find anything, though. And Showtime now just to save that lesser C-sided weapon. Whether he does that is yet to be seen. He will take down Shoxy with him, but these frags don't really mean too much. If he saves the Galil, maybe there's going to be something to talk about in the next round, but that's not going to happen. 13-5, looking very likely here, as all LG can do in round number 18 is sit back and wait, really. USPs only. after the significant investment in round number 2, which is absolutely fine. I only really disagree on the CT side if you've got a massive lead after the first half, like G2 did on Overpass. You've got that 11-4, you don't need to win round number 2, but if you're desperate and you need a bit of a miracle, sure, give it a go, but really didn't work out for LG there, and like I said, full eco, just $300 spent on Showtime's P250. Looks like a bit of a B-rush here from G2. Not going to fully commit at the start, but Kenny S opens things up, Molotov towards Checkers, and that will be his cue to make his way towards the site.
Kenny, Mac 10, already with 1 kill, wanting to further that by walking into the site. Small pick for Steele. It's an off angle. In fact, Kenny did get that kill, despite that it looked like he went down. It was Smiths that killed him afterwards, so a little bit of a helping hand from G2 for Luminosity. Unfortunately, not help enough as it goes 13-5, and G2, remember, winning the first map. Are that close to winning this series. Classed as a quarterfinal and moving on to tomorrow.
It was a nice try. You almost got that. Didn't really catch on. Yeah. 13-5, and we'll get into what could be the last couple of rounds here. G2 with a significant lead, but the double orb setup, the first time we've seen this from LG. I'm so surprised I'm saying that. I thought that would be a massive part of their game, but it will be the execution. I love this from G2. It's the first proper gun round here, and you know the CTs will be low on utility. They won't have the Molotovs, for example. They won't have the fuse kits. You're doing a set piece, which pretty much guarantees a plan whatever happens, and at that point, even a 1 versus 3 is possible with the lack of utility. PKL, good position, as he finds 2 frags, make it 3, starts mowing them all down towards the squeaky door, and Luminosity all of a sudden have a lifeline here. Surely this is their round.
Perfect. They try and make straight contact through the door, and he's positioned in such a way that a response didn't even really get fired toward him. Bomb dropped inside of the doorway as well, and back off is Smiths and Kenny's call. In fact, they'll boost toward middle and see if Kenny can open it up. Showtime's down below. Double up, and he realizes as he hears Kenny above him that it's his opportunity to strike. Recovery at this point for Smiths. Do any economic damage that he can, but there's none. In fact, not even any damage dealt toward LG, so a perfect round as it goes 13-6.
Indeed, what a great hold from PKL. Didn't need the most amazing amount of aim there, but the spray control was certainly on point. 3 kills coming in thick and fast. The money still strong for G2. The double orb setup still ringing true. And now LG looking like they can do something with this half because they have the utility. You can see the incendiaries coming out, the diffuse kits, the smokes. Everything is there for them. And we'll see whether this is enough for G2. Kenny S just with the CZ. Did he save a bit more cash again? He's got himself $1,000 still, so didn't want to go all in. He's confident his teammates can win this.
Steele still with the vents intact. We'll be able to use that perhaps to his advantage. 3 Molotovs on the G2 side that could easily dispel him from that position, but bomb's still down, and they're going to go for the boost now for Smiths. No indication that they will Molotov it, so it's Yell first they have to deal with. Sandbag's position for the AWP. It's just unexpected enough that Smiths runs out and into it as Showtime gathers a kill on the second one toward body. Good start again for Luminosity. Very passive inside of middle, but nonetheless they had the positions, they had the angles, and not a lot of availability or room to work for G2. Good sign, perhaps, of a solid default for Luminosity. G2 will have to respond accordingly as this looks to go 13-7. I say that, the bomb could still get planted on A, but it's a 2 versus 5.
Look at the names ready and waiting there in the 5-on-2. Shoxy has managed to pull off some unspeakable things in these sort of situations before. Kenny S only with a pistol. Shoxy knows he has to fight up close and personal. Flashbang starting to come in, can't hit the first shot. That was his opportunity.
Yeah, this is the best bet. Kenny, get on the bomb. You know they're going to come that direction. Try and catch a headshot on the way by. Best case, he picks up a gun and gets a further kill, but that was done as soon as Shox went down. You said it. Had to fight, found by the AWP. So Showtime with 2, Yell with 1, 3 between the 2 of them. Good sign that the double op is effective for Luminosity. And again, that mid-control, they got positions that were not contested at all from G2.
That should be the eco at this point. There is about $3,000 to $4,000 available for G2. We'll see whether this is going to be enough to suggest a force buy here. I got some G2 fans in the crowd. I see you guys still supporting the new squad. They're still growing. as evidence yesterday was provided. Mirage was very disappointing, but they're looking poised now for a 2-0. But a bit of a bump in the road as 2 rounds in a row for LG is going to suggest an eco now for the French side. It looked like they were on cruise control here, but that nice play from PKL towards the forklift area has given them some entry back into the map. A long road to go just yet, but this tactical pause will allow G2 to decide what they're going to do with these CZs and armor. They've got a couple of smokes here, 4 flashbangs, and we'll see whether they can even get the bomb planted. Looks like a B split almost guaranteed with this formation they've established right now. Showtime can't afford to miss a shot.
Showtime indeed. Because with one goes down immediately after the body, and Showtime does get caught off. Looked like he was trying to relocate himself very slowly, perhaps carelessly, because he's going to fall immediately after. Good recovery from Steel. Bomb goes down, that smoke is well off the mark, and Steel's able to find Kenny immediately after. So it was a quick round in the end as expected, but got a little bit awkward for a moment. 13-8, and G2 back in the range of weaponry. AWP is not exactly a foregone conclusion. They can afford one, but not with much else to go along beside it. On that particular player, I should say. There's certainly guns available to them. And they're going to go for the SMGs again, Henry. Certainly had more available to them in terms of AKs.
Yeah, they've actually left themselves out 2. This is a really interesting approach from G2. This could be...
It's the opposite of what we expect from them, where they're just blowing cash away. This is
exactly. They're normally high-rolling, dropping everything they can, auto-snipers, triple AWPs, and for now, they've actually got much more money than this buy suggests. They've kept themselves around $2,000 a player, brought out a couple of AKs, but they will be punished for it so far. 3 kills for Luminosity. Body pulls 1 back with the MAC-10. It's another 4 versus 2. Strange scenes here. This is not an approach I've seen ever at this level of CSGO. Just these weird SMG buys, leaving money aside for future rounds. Doesn't work out at all for them. I guess if they've got a very fast and close set piece available to, they can focus towards their forklift, for example, with a few smokes dropped. I guess that could make sense. But interesting to see new ideas coming to the table, at least. Like Existence, heralded as one of the most iconic in-game leaders of all time, probably at the French scene. And good to see him back and maybe bringing some new ideas to the table.
Well, they'll have a chance to do so again as they go into their timeouts, their 4th of which is available to them, and they won't waste any or hold any in the event that overtime happens. It's still a possibility at 13-9 with money as it sits. And I'm going to say it, Luminosity's CT side looks formidable. G2 finding that out the hard way against the double op setup. Number of kills found early from G2 in the previous rounds. You talk about PKL with the 3-man spray down, 3 kills to 1 early on in the last. And G2 will bring out an AWP this time around with nothing unorthodox, no SMGs. It's almost like a mid-half bonus round going for that buy. If they win it, they build up so much, they break the bank, well, they wear it down, not necessarily break it, depending on the situation. Wear it down on the other side, and then pick up rifles to go across with them, presumably, in doing so. So it's an interesting approach.
It's a very interesting concept. I think we need someone like Sean to maybe make a video on it to kind of break it all down, the benefits, the pros and the cons. That could be really interesting. There's definitely next to it, I think. It's quite a cool idea, but it's going to be the first kill for Nikiz. That takes down Existence, but it's back and forth we go. As Showtime maintains the man advantage now. Smiths and Kenny starting to struggle a little bit. How can they really get back into this one? The aggression from Luminosity just stifling the terrorists at this point. Kenny, bit of a wild flick there, doesn't connect to anything. But smoke down towards connector for now. He's just hoping a mistake is presented by LG.
Falls off the hut, 1 step too far. Yellow is waiting, and Kenny could never get that angle. Bomb down as well, 1 versus 4. Very, very solid CT side indeed for Luminosity. And G2 needs to be able to find map control to go along. I mean, that time, sure, they got a pick early on, but look at the recovery, look at the response. Aggressive from Luminosity to hold out in B tunnels. And Kenny with nowhere to go inside of the vents does bring us to both teams within double digits, and money not in an amazing situation for G2. Not a lot of bomb plants to go along with this bonus that they currently have.
You're absolutely right there. $3,400 per player has to be another partial buy here, I would imagine. Deagle starting to be purchased by the French. 13-10, but that lead is certainly slipping away. After being up 3-0, they haven't posted a single gun round yet. So this is not over at this point. Third map still very possible. As we head into round number 24. Is there enough here with the Distant Eagles and CZ? They've got 1 smoke, a couple of flashbangs for Showtime. Great position to shut down Elite's body. jump over the bullets. Incendiary deployed, and Body surely going to be done for at this point.
Oh my
Doesn't
goodness.
capitalize on that chance to take down the AWP.
One bullet more would have done it. He ran out. Showtime gets away, and now he's got Steel to go in and try to avenge. Couldn't do it. Goes down, Body finally gets away with 134 HP, and that's a lifeline for G2. And they know that earlier damage was done, so they could easily pursue onto the B site. They would still have to go by Nekas, who's gone up onto Heaven, onto the catwalk above. Shock starting to find a deagle shot to PKL toward the quad position. Smith's going to do the same from Highway, so they can actually force them off into awkward angles and have vision from one spot or the other. Whether or not they can hit the shots on top of it, still up for debate. Yet to be determined, but back to B they will go, and I'm not surprised given the damage done to Showtime. First, though, thankfully Shock's just barely got around the corner. It's the M4 they have to find. He's uncertain of where to position himself, still in the doorway. He'll be able to spot them when they walk across. Main does that now. Nade to go in. Showtime, AWP, we mentioned it, still sufficient. And the nade will find further damage. He'll go down eventually. Showtime, that was seemingly inevitable. But it's guns picked up that becomes the factor, and Kenny as well onto an AWP. They may not have a lot of time, 16 seconds, but if they get the next kill, this bomb is absolutely going to be planted. They had to go back for it. That buys further time, 9 seconds, and they're going to boost Kenny while planting. Whether or not intended, it works for one, but that's still not enough as we get to 13-11.
Creative play, Matt, but not quite enough to get them over the finish line. And it will be double digits for LG now as it's G2's pick, but they're starting to flounder somewhat on the T side of Cash. CT looks so fantastic for them, but can't seem to find a single gun round just yet. 2 rounds to go until LG tie things up, with the money strong once again for G2. The AWP coming out, and the AKs, of course, as well. They've got a nice, healthy buy here. Double AWP setup still working out very well for Luminosity, I have to say. This is why I wanted to see it on Overpass. Showtime and Yell to wield those weapons. Have a look at the scoreboard. 22 kills for Nick. Here's a player we don't know too much about. We haven't get to see him too much in the big stage. One of the lesser names, as he seems to be doing a very good job so far. And, oh, I love this boost. This is actually quite clever. They know Kenny is so fast. Be yourself in a position where he won't be able to flick up to you. I'm not sure that's 100% safe, but we'll see.
Yell boosted a quad, fires preemptively as the flash came out. That'll force him off of the position. Didn't want to crouch down, didn't want to hold and wait. Shocks over top of the red crate. Finally an opening for G2. Will take down PKL. Bomb not quite in position though. Is still back toward mid main. So they've got to go back for that, which means they've got to hold off longer inside of the site as Kenny S tries desperately to get the no scopes but can't do so. And it is responded. That time in which they didn't have the bomb is actually going to cost them in the end.
Well, there we go, 3 versus 2. Kenny S trying some high-flying 360 antics there. Didn't quite connect. And the bomb still needs to get planted here. Majority of the CT power towards A, but the bomb's being planted at B. Now it's a 2 versus 2. Body secures the kill on towards Steel. Kit's available, one of these players with the AWP. Existence and bodies to defend.
It is the right call. If you're that chaotic inside of A, you forced a rotation, but you still have the availability, especially having lost the site again, to go back toward B. And they've got so much time in the post plant, but Body had to hit that shot. Existence left at headshot, has 2 players approaching together, which means trade potential exists. It is an AWP for Yell, so a possibility that it can still be caught out. Good find in the first, as Existence swings back around, and he'll finally give G2 a round.
There we go, Existence finds him their first gun round. It wasn't clean, it wasn't concise, but he gets it done in the 2 versus 1. It felt like it could have been a lot more easy for G2 at that point. There's a lot of missed shots there, very chaotic play towards that A bomb site. They reposition back towards B. Body doing great work to get them a winnable situation. It was actually a wall bang towards CT Spawn. That's kind of insane. So it took all of that, a wall bang towards Spawn, and Existence of 2 versus 1 to find another gun round, but they get one step closer now. Of course, they're nowhere near breaking the bank account to Luminosity. The double AWP setup comes out once again after winning 6 rounds in a row. G2 need to avoid the reset at this point. One more round will secure match point as we enter round number 26 here. Nothing too fast from G2 just yet. They are starting to poise themselves though towards the A bomb site. Kenny S and Shocks just exploring that area right now. We know what Kenny can do in these sort of positions. Flash goes in! Oh, it was so fast but not quite accurate enough.
It's almost like he was perfect in his prediction, but you're right, it just barely missed the mark. I'd love to see it in super slow-mo. Didn't seem like it missed by much as Body sprays once more toward the checker room. G2 suddenly have forced Luminosity to be far more passive in their approach. even with that double op setup, Luminosity have done a tremendous job at making this game very close. And in fact, I would say arguably had the momentum, but they still have a long way to go. And G2 finally establishing a little bit of mid-control, but are not that close. And Kenny to respond. There's nothing Yell could do. No further action required, or at least available, I should say, from within the A site, because Smiths is already pursuing PKL, and that allows another bomb plant. So after a number of rounds where they couldn't find opening picks, they couldn't get trades in their advantage, and struggled to get bomb plants down, it's 2 in a row, and this time they've got the advantage in the post plan.
3 versus 2. It's showtime with the AWP. Going for the wall bang, hoping someone's tucked in there towards a forklift. Not the case, though, but they are going to flush them out with the incendiary. Can they convert the frag? Certainly not. Smith's doing a great job there. Takes a wide peek from the forklift, finds both the frags, and secures match point for G2 here. They looked flat yesterday, but this is much better. The whole team looking like they could do great things in this tournament if they keep this up.
Well, and one of the things I like, look, again, we talked about that was very close. It is Luminosity, okay? It's still Indeed. A team that you don't expect as much from, and G2 aren't exactly running away with it, but I like that I'm seeing them adapt. I like that we've seen changes in their play throughout both maps in which they're responding to either positions in pit on overpass, or now the aggression on the CT side from Luminosity. It says that they're at least working as a unit. Like you say, the teamwork shows signs of improvement.
Well, we go into what could be the last round here. Double orb set up for LG again. We can see the kids. Their top fragger only with that UMP. Steel has got one of the kits, one of the few kits they've got available, just 2 of them. Let's get to another default here for the French squad. 15-11. One more round will do it for them. Body trying to get that first pick. Fires wildly towards the B storage, but doesn't connect any bullets just yet. Round 27. We'll see whether this is where they finish things off. PKL, the only player towards A, but he's doing a great job so far. Finds that opening kill, and it's the AWP that goes down. Kenny S dropped. Shoxy trying to recover.
Corner side of A main. Try and swing out body at the backside of the vents as well. If they could get a Molotov in towards Steel, it would be perfect, but no one in position to do so. Thankfully, for Luminosity's sake, they've got some weapons to work with in this. What potentially could be the last round. Shox has gone undetected toward the forklift. A smoke to actually conceal toward highway may tempt them into taking that position, and do they check forklift in doing so, because it might not be suspected. Showtime does have the AWP, so if he stings up that wall, he can catch them off. The first kill by Smiths has discouraged that, however, and look at B. Body's already inside of the site. Bombs going back. Shox is going to start to lurk any second. Showtime not peeking it as well. He can easily catch the kill to highway, does that, and rotates in knowing there's no one else around, which means he's going to buy more time, more space, and B is absolutely going to get planted. 11 seconds, mind you.
It's so confusing for Luminosity right now. They have no idea what's going on. Back and forth between the bomb sites, but the plant does come in successfully. Showtime goes to the hero play map, and that could be it. 2 versus 1. The kid's only got the USP right now. What's he done with his weapon? There's an AK there. Grab that, but he's wasting so much time. He's got no kits.
Yeah, that's time he certainly would have liked to have on his side spots, the shoulder of existence. They now know he's inside of the vents, and they'll position well back toward tree. They don't need to do much at this point in time. They can play the cross, they can play the bomb, and like you say, without the kit, this becomes a massive problem. Nekes will go, finds the first as they look away from the flash, but he's unsuspecting of them both being in the same position. Taps the bomb, which forces the peek, but he's not got much else to play for. 16-11, G2 go 2-0.
Well, it's